Well, good morning. My name's Sue Ellson. Welcome to the Melbourne Reinvent Your Career Expo. This is the third time I've spoken at the Reinvent Your Career Expo, and every time I talk about LinkedIn. But every year it's a different presentation. So we're very fortunate that we've got a great day weather-wise in Melbourne. So I hope you get to enjoy some of it later on today. For those of you who don't know me, I've published 2 books this year. The first one was in February, which is 120 Ways to Achieve Your Purpose with LinkedIn. And then in May, I launched 120 Ways to Attract the Right Career or Business. So both of those books are available today at stand A3. And Grace will be wandering around giving you an opportunity to win a copy of those books and also the chance to come to a seminar, a 2-hour seminar I'm running on LinkedIn on the 16th of July. But today, I'd like to focus on the top 20 tips from the book. And I'll also have some time for questions. So if you want to think of questions that you'd like to ask me, I obviously haven't got a computer screen here, I can't show you on LinkedIn, but I can definitely give you some answers. Or if you don't want to speak in front of the whole group, you can obviously visit me at stand A3 a little bit later as well. And I'm also recording this session, so if you know somebody else who would gain value from it, then they can obviously listen to the recording. So first of all, just to give you a bit of a background on LinkedIn, I joined on the 21st of December 2003. So I'm one of the first 80,000 people in the world on LinkedIn. And my book has 8 years of experience put into 80,000 words. But there's actually more than 433 million members on LinkedIn around the world. And they're joining at the rate of 2 new members per second. So it's a very, very popular online platform. There's nearly 8 million now members in Australia. So it originally started off just as a professional network for people, but it's morphed into more of a publishing platform, and the future incarnation is going to be a business-to-business platform. So a lot of people are very nervous at the moment because Microsoft has just acquired LinkedIn, and I want to all assure you it's not going to change overnight, so don't panic. That's my main message. I still believe that LinkedIn will survive anything. It's actually gone through a number of incarnations, and it's also actually acquired a number of other platforms and integrated those in the past. So on that basis, I see this as just another version of LinkedIn. I can't see it disappearing anytime soon. Now, if you'd like to compare LinkedIn with some of the other platforms in Australia, Facebook has obviously got a wider reach, so you've got about 15 million people on Facebook, 7 million on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, 5 million on Twitter, 4 million on Pinterest, and Snapchat comes in at 3 million. So it's actually a very popular one, and the best part about LinkedIn from my point of view is that if somebody Googles your name, LinkedIn is likely to come up. Even my sueellson.com, my exact match domain name, took 6 months to rank above my LinkedIn profile. So really, really good for search results. Now, 75% of decision makers will Google you before you even get an interview, and 95% of decision makers will Google you and check out Facebook and everything else before they offer you a job. So again, this is content that you can control and you can have managed on your own. So my number 1 top 20 tip from the book is you really need to decide on your purpose from the beginning, because that will determine all the content that you have on your LinkedIn profile. And your purpose can change, and that's the good thing, so you can change your content. And I've written an article, and if you'd like a copy of these slides, again, wait till the end and I'll show you how you can get a copy of the slides and the recording, because we're videoing it. But that article talks about helping you to find your own job or career. And what happened was, for me, I spent 3 years reading books. Do what you love, the money will follow, what's your purpose in life, what colour's your parachute. And I read all these books, and this little article summarises all of that and gives you a framework for choosing the career and perhaps the options you'd like in the future. Number 2 is you need to select your primary keywords and your secondary keywords. And this is obviously a very jargonistic type term, but if a recruiter or a decision maker is looking for you online, they need to be able to find you via keywords. They're going to be searching by keywords. So, for example, I spoke at a conference 2 years ago in Adelaide of all the career development practitioners. So if you haven't had a chance today, check out the CDAA stand and you can speak to a career development practitioner. And we did a little test in the room, and I thought, well, if I was looking for career advice, I'd probably want to speak to a career counsellor. So I typed it into LinkedIn, Career Counsellor Adelaide, and not one of the people in that room came up, and yet they all offered career counselling. And the reason they didn't come up was because the words they used on their profile was career development practitioner, but the public uses the term career counsellor. So when you think of your primary keywords,
to those of you that have just
it's not the same now, it's changed, they've all changed their profiles, but when you think of the keywords you're putting on your profile, you need to think about who's going to be searching for you and the words they're going to be using, and you need to come up with those and put them throughout your profile. The highest priority is in headline, your job title, your past job title, your education, experience and summary. So they're the highest priority locations for those keywords. You also need to complete as many different sections as possible on your LinkedIn profile, because the algorithms are checking and saying how many details have been completed on this profile. And if you've got more details completed, you're much more likely to come up in search results. And if you haven't logged on for LinkedIn for a very long time, they're not going to think that you're an active participant in the job market. So I'd suggest, even when you've got a job and you love it, you'd still probably want to log into LinkedIn maybe once a week. And even if you were actively using LinkedIn, I wouldn't recommend that you use it for any more than 20 minutes a week. You know, it's not something you have to use a lot of, but you have to be strategic about what you're going to do. Now, with any social media platform, you really need to make sure before you hit send that you proofread it. You know, I've made mistakes and then had to delete posts, but you can never be 100% sure that what you've typed in is gone. So I always say, before you type anything, if you like, comment or share an article on LinkedIn, make sure you check what you've written before you forward those details on. And next one is, for any content that you actually produce on your LinkedIn profile, is you need to make sure that it fits a style guide. So I write a lot of content for websites, because I also teach how to create a simple WordPress website at the CAE in the city here. And we really talk about making sure you have a heading 1, a heading 2, some quotes, some links, some pictures, labeled pictures. All of this sort of stuff is relevant on LinkedIn, just the same as it is for a business and their website and search engine optimizing that. You can make sure you have your own hashtag. You know, some people specialise in a particular area, so they always hashtag their content. You could do the @ symbol and ping somebody else to let them know that you've just posted about them. And you can also have keywords. Make sure you have a call to action. Please share this with your friends. You know, if it's helpful, please like, comment or share. And also, if relevant, depending on what you're posting, like if you write a post on LinkedIn, you would definitely include your contact details at the end of it. Number 6, you need to stay up to date with the various features and functions of LinkedIn. When I work privately with clients, a lot of them are surprised at all the different things that are available through LinkedIn, and there's quite a lot of them. So have a look every so often, just click around the menus, because they do change, and just see if there's anything that you could perhaps be using a little bit better for your purpose. And then obviously incorporate the best ones that are suitable for you. Got to compete with the microphone here. Number 7. You also need to be strategic about sourcing new connections. So one of the biggest complaints I have about LinkedIn is all these people connect with me and I don't know who they are. So if it's related to your purpose, say yes. If it's not related, say no. If you just want to build your network, say yes. If they're a problem, remove them. You know, it's not difficult. It's just something you should try and relax about and not get too anxious about. And obviously incorporate the best features for your purpose. As from the previous slide, I forgot to mention that before. And if there's particular people that you really want to keep in touch with on a regular basis, you can tag them. So where it says relationship, you can actually go there, and I've got a category called VIP, and so those people I try and contact on a little bit more regular basis. You also need to decide on what you're going to measure to assess your performance of how things are going for you on LinkedIn. So are you increasing the number of connections? Are you getting more than 100 views per 90 days? So if you want to be active in the job market, you would want to be getting at least 100 views per 90 days. I also recommend you try and get 6 recommendations, and you know, obviously try and give out 6 recommendations and get some endorsements for your top skills. Number 9, regularly review who's been looking at your profile. This is my favourite activity to do on LinkedIn. It's called reverse stalking. checking out who's been stalking me. And that is really, really helpful to me because it tells me, am I attracting new clients, existing clients, potential clients, and so on. And it's really, really a useful tool for me. What sort of responses? Do you respond fairly quickly? Have you got leads? Are you converting them? What other analytics? Do you want to see how you rank compared to the other people in your network? And if you want to measure those things because it's important for your purpose, you can definitely do that on LinkedIn. And by the way, I'm not paid by LinkedIn. I'm completely independent, so I'm not selling you LinkedIn here today. Okay? And yeah, you just work out what's going to help you determine your purpose. And I got that little statistic this morning. I've had 880 views in the last 90 days. And I know a guy in Adelaide who actually gets 2,000 views per 90 days, but he doesn't get any work. So it's not just about getting an increased number of views, it's about getting conversions and getting what you actually want out of it. So, number 10, understand the nature of the platform and its power as a network builder. So a lot of people don't realise that this is a way to have your little black book of contacts carried with you throughout your career. And so you can build a network. There's no such thing as job security, but if you know these different people and they can connect to you, that's going to be really helpful. You can also use it to publish content. I have a lot of my content that regularly attracts business for me. And you can also use it as a research tool. You can find a mentor, you can find job opportunities, you can find target companies. Very useful as a research tool. Just use it. What's going to work for you? There's also quite a lot of apps. So there's a LinkedIn app you can use on your phone, but there's also jobs, there's influencers that you can follow if you've got a particular interest in an area, channels, news feeds. And if you join the 120 Ways membership program, it's free, but I give you a whole list of links from the book, free of charge. So that gives you direct access to all the different features, because believe it or not, LinkedIn does not even have a sitemap. I cannot even believe that, being in web design. So if you want to have access to all the different things that you can do on LinkedIn, you can join the 120 Ways membership program and get all those links free of charge. As I said, I'm not paid by LinkedIn, and I don't recommend the premium product unless you've done everything you can with the freemium product, the free version. So, do all the free things first. If you're still not getting enough interest, then definitely pay for premium, because that will increase your search rank. It gives you better algorithms. It gives you better search results. It helps you come up higher in the list if you apply for jobs. It gives you the last 90 days of people who've looked at your profile. You can stalk a lot more, a lot more information, but it's not necessary. I've been on LinkedIn since 2003 and I still haven't gone to the premium, and I get heaps of work out of it. So it works on the free one for me. 13. You need to also understand the nature of business and the value not just of doing everything on LinkedIn, but still meeting people face to face. So I go to between 1 and 4 events per week to keep myself up to date, to meet people, to speak, lots of different things. So you do still have to do things face to face. You can't just rely on an online platform. And it's also a good idea, if you meet people here today, connect with them on LinkedIn later. Talk to somebody else in the audience. Everybody knows at least 250 people. So there's a good chance that they'll know somebody who might be able to refer you. Because the best ways to still get work are through networking, referrals and voluntary work. They're the 3 main ways that people get work. Not by applying for jobs online. That's one of the worst ways. Only 10% of jobs even appear there. Number 14, you also need to adjust your processes according to the different stage of your career journey you're at. So if you're a student, it's going to be very different to what you're going to be doing at retirement. In fact, some people who retired, I've spoken to a number of Rotary clubs, and they said, we don't want LinkedIn, we're retired. And I said, yeah, but if somebody was doing a family tree trace and they were trying to find you, it would be really handy if you just were on LinkedIn and say, I'm retired, only interested in family tree inquiries. So, you can still have it at retirement. But it is slightly different. You're never too young either. Both of my children have LinkedIn profiles, and I really encourage Year 12 students to do it before they leave school. So yeah, definitely worthwhile having LinkedIn. Number 15, you also need to understand that there's other people in the job market, and you need to think about, how you're perceived. So even if you get a job, people are still going to Google you. You go to a party on the weekend, people are going to Google you. And the good thing about LinkedIn is you can massage that message and make it say what you want to say it. But also you need to remember that it's not just about getting what you want. So if you start spamming people, you're not going to get a good response. You really can't just say, give me a job, give me a job. You know, you need to be looking for information, getting referrals, and then when you speak to that next person, they're more likely to be interested. The other issue that I have with a lot of my clients is that they have this belief, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have a qualification, I got sacked from my last job. They have all these beliefs about why they can't get a job. And that's not true, you know. It's just the skills to get a job are different to the skills to do a job. So what most of you probably need is just training on how to find work, not necessarily reorganise your whole life and learn lots of skills. But you do have to have a flexible attitude. And that's mentioned in the program guide and the career changes article that I wrote in that you should have when you came in the door. We're nearly there. Only 4 to go. You're also on LinkedIn, you're part of an international market. So if you want to consider yourself for international opportunities, that's also something you can do. Obviously you can only list one location, but if you've decided you want to go and live in Singapore in 3 months' time, change your location to Singapore now so that you come up in those search results. So you can definitely consider that as a way. And then in your address box you can say currently living in Melbourne, planning to move to Singapore, you know, in June, September. So, you know, you can still do that. You're not lying, but you're going to make it so that you come up in the Singapore search results. Number 18. You also need to decide to measure only what's relevant. You know, as I said before, if you've got 2,000 views and no job opportunities, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. So you need to decide what are you going to actually do and then choose the things to do that are going to help you achieve your purpose. You also need to relax a little. You know, some people get very stressed through the whole job search process and, you know, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week is the maximum amount of time I say to look for work. The rest of the time, you know, lie on the beach, but at least 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Look at your profile and do other job search activities. Always multiple concurrent strategies. It's going to work a lot better than just one. And also, it's your reputation, it's your branding, you know, a lot of that sort of stuff can be massaged in your LinkedIn profile. You can highlight the fact that you're a member of professional associations. That's a really good thing to do. And if you're in business, you obviously need to make sure that all your employees are following the rules and obligations that you've set up for your enterprise. And last but not least, get some professional help. I mean, if you go out to dinner, how much money do you spend, you know, on 3 dinner dates? And you could get some professional help and in 3 hours change your life and get the job you want. Isn't it worth paying for some professional help? So really think about that. There's on the CDAA website, there's a find a practitioner listing. You can go through and have a look at the practitioner profiles and you can see what they specialise in. If they've got networks in your area, you can call them and have a quick chat. So definitely worth getting professional career advice. I also offer career advice, so if you want to check out my sueellson.com website, which is on the next slide, you'll see there's heaps and heaps of free articles on there in the publications and also in the presentations. So if you'd like a copy of this recording, then you can obviously message me and I'll send you all the details. And I'll also send you the top 20 tips from both of the books. So I'll email that to you. And because you've made the effort to sit down and give yourself a break, I'd like to give you $10 off anything that's in the A3 stand today. So normally the books are $30. So all you have to do when you come round to our stand is say seminar and we'll give you $10 off whatever you choose. So there's an extra bonus just for sitting here for the last 20 minutes and listening to me. But even if you don't want to purchase anything, the digital books, if you look at your Expo guide on the back cover, you'll see a copy of the books. And if you order the digital version of the book before the 31st of July and you put in RYC, you'll save 10% off of the digital copy of the book as well. So, are there any questions before I get shuffled off the stage and somebody else comes up? Yes?
Their aim at the Expo is a company
You might have to come as close as I can.
super obligations and entitlements.
When you're looking for a job,
Yeah.
and you like to be applying, you know where you're already putting it up. you also tend to look up the HR people.
Yes?
Did you know that healthcare and social assistance is Australia's largest employing industry in accounting for
Okay,
12?
so the question is, if you've applied for a job and you got in contact with the HR manager, would you contact them on LinkedIn and try and connect with them? Now, I'm a member of the Australian Human Resources Institute, and I can assure you that most HR managers never want to hear from applicants, because their role is, and their purpose on LinkedIn is something completely different. But if you know that you're going to be interviewed by that particular HR manager, you can definitely look at their profile and try and understand a little bit more about them. Because if you get the interview, it means that your application was good enough. So dispel any rumours about, well, I don't have enough experience or whatever. If you got an interview, your application was good enough. If you miss out after the interview, if you just want to put a big umbrella over it, what it normally means is they couldn't see you working out in that job. They'll give you any other reason. They might tell you, we wanted somebody with 6 years of experience, or, they'll give you some other reason. But basically, the bottom line is they couldn't see you fitting into that organisation. Who cares? Go for the next job. It's not the end of the world. Just keep going. But yeah, be careful, because a lot of HR managers get a lot of approaches from candidates. So unless you're in HR or had something to offer them, you probably wouldn't. But even the fact that you looked at their profile, if they're watching their profile and they saw that you showed some interest, that could look good for you. And you can also look at their profile anonymously if you don't want them to know you've looked at their profile, by going into privacy and settings and choosing anonymous LinkedIn user. Yeah. Any other questions? Come on, don't be shy. There's probably somebody else thinking the same question. No? All right. Well, thank you for joining us here at the Reinvent Your Career Expo in Melbourne. There's lots of things to look at. Check out your guide. There's an article I've written on there on career changes. And as I said, if you contact me directly, happy to send you the copy of both 20 tips from both books, as well as connect with you on LinkedIn, which will increase your search results. And if you've got quick questions, by all means, shoot them through to me on email. And also today, if you just mention the word seminar over at Stand Day 3, we'll give you $10 off anything you'd like to purchase. Thanks very much.
If you'd like to